You guys hear that?
Oh.
Yep.
Okay,
Yup.
I gotta set up right.
Then it was supposed to kick into like Hall of the Mountain King or something, you know. Tum, 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 tum.
Come on, Chief. Take a girl for a ride.
Alright guys, for this night's D&D session I will be playing Stoken until he is able to get online and get into the campaign. He is... I can't remember what he is. I guess I can look right here at his paper. He's a gladiator background. He's a ranger, and he is a shepherd human, or a shepherd mongrel is what it says. So he's half dog, half person. Holy cow, he has a whole ton of attack type things he can do. Good God. Bite, hand axe, longbow, spear, trident, fish hook combo. It's a freaking... No wonder he can't run his character very well. He's got so much shit that he can do. But we will see.
Nope.
Nope, what?
Kirk is wanting to know if we could hear him.
There we go. Ah, now we can.
I can hear
Sorry.
you now.
Might help if your mic wasn't muted, Bubby.
It was my headset was actually off. That was the problem. Don't mind the horrid noise in the back. The underneath of the refrigerator got wet last night, and it'll make this noise for a couple of days.
We don't hear it
Okay.
anyway,
I
so.
don't hear anything.
Nope, not a thing.
So y'all can't hear that god awful noise.
See, I'm trying to help you out with noises in the background so you can get off the phone.
Would you hang up on your wife, Ost?
Ask her.
Maybe that's a bad example.
It may.
Bless you.
We're married to her for 35 years or thereabouts. Yeah, probably.
Sorry, hon. I got D&D things to go click.
That's about it. Yeah, just don't make the mistake and misword it and say I've got more important things to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna get you put no, not no, but hell no. So are we ready to get started here?
Ready here.
Let me empty my mouth. I have food in it.
Who is sound?
You.
That laugh
Step.
sounds semi-familiar.
Really?
What the hell?
It must be multiple people.
Or it's a soundboard.
Ta-da!
Yeah, it's a soundboard.
Oh my! Sometimes
See what he
Clayton
needs to
can
do
be
is
so
to hook that
obviously
up to a
funny.
MIDI keyboard.
MIDI keyboards are still a thing.
MIDI, M-I-D-I.
I know I was being sarcastic.
I wish Twitch could utilize that for the push to talk button,
Right.
because then, you know, somebody would start selling a product that is all it is like a MIDI, you know, dedicated for that kind of thing. It just uses the MIDI.
I actually sat for 2 hours the other night on Twitch watching a kid using software creating club music with it. That was pretty impressive. He was pretty good at it. But then when I got to looking into the software and all the add-ons that he had on it,
A little expensive.
He
he had
finished
about
it,
$10,000 worth of software wrapped up in it.
plus
Yeah.
the cost of his hardware.
There's plenty of free software or open source software that can do the same thing. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, but it's not professional grade, so people aren't going to use
Yeah,
it.
it is.
There's open source software that does it. This one was an Adobe thing, or I'd have to look it back up.
Adobe's relatively inexpensive. I mean, it's like 70 bucks a month.
I don't think it was Adobe. I'd have to look it back up.
All right, guys.
There's
so
also other alternatives that are
I
actually
think we're
quite
actually waiting
inexpensive
for Stoken to
are
come
just
back,
as good.
so that way
That
he
when
can
you
just
talk
play his
about
own
MIDI, 'cause
character.
MIDI
But I
is
don't
like
know for sure.
easy. It's just sound sampling in essence. Well, not MIDI itself, but how MIDI is typically used. It's just sound samples.
Are we going to start this escapade?
That was awesome.
Mandy's trying to empty her mouth, so.
Actually, Mandy's trying to eat, but okay. So, do we have XP awarded for on-timeness?
Yeah, I can work on that.
Okay, so when you guys left off, you were trying to figure out how best to approach Jaleel about getting your quote-unquote princess back. I
I'm gonna
believe.
ask a
Go ahead.
Did we ever just try to ask for her, or ask what it would cost to get her back instead of trying to do this a different way?
You were told to talk to Jaleel during daylight hours to negotiate her release. It's what the ransom note that was sent said.
Sounds like a good thing to do during the day.
Good thing it's daylight, huh?
Awesome.
Daylight.
Daylight coming, me wanna go home.
I thought you were home.
No, we're in Zavonia.
Thank you, smartass.
You're welcome.
I'm not completely sure where I'm at.
Currently,
Earth.
Ost and Stoken are asleep.
Because we were up all night spying on them.
Exactly. So it's up to the rest of you to figure out how you are going to approach this situation.
Why don't we just do it and go knock on the door? See what their
That was-
terms are.
That was
I-
one idea.
I thought that was Jamroar's thing.
Hey, Stoken, roll me a d10. Or Chairman, I guess.
Oh, I'm so confused.
Whichever furry creature you are today.
Give it.
Did you tell them to roll a d10 or a d12?
Oh, I just grabbed one and threw it in there because it said 10 on top.
Yeah, that's a d12.
Oh, here's that one. 3.
There you go.
I don't care. It's not really my character, so whatever happens to it's not my problem.
Oh, you say
That
that
can be
now.
amended.
Oh, in the dice tower. Alright, sorry.
Wow,
sword
your
can-
listening skills rule today.
Hey, that was behind Stoken's thing here I'm trying to read so I can figure out what he is capable of.
Barking at the moon.
Well, he'd be barking in his sleep, so I imagine there'd be leg kicks in there too.
Can't handle his alcohol very well.
You don't know how right you came close, or how close you came to being totally right.
Him and I were having a blast in private chat.
He's a good guy. He's just got a lot going on right now. Okay, so one of the other ideas was to rush in and kill everything. So you guys were divided and undecided.
Who put up the idea of running and killing?
That would be your resident jerk.
And what is
Resident
said
jerk.
jerk's? What is jerk's alignment?
That would be for him to tell you because I don't know. I don't have that information.
Because I'm actually asking out of character because it may be out of that person's character to want to do that anyways.
I have every confidence that this player plays his character exactly as it's meant to be played.
Okay.
And just who would you be talking?
The one that gave me life.
Actually, he never did suggest that we rush in there and take it. He went and did scouting to find out if it was conceivable to get in and out without being caught.
I think we should just go knock on the door and ask for the important dude and see what the terms are.
Corin, Jamroar, Kristoff, care to weigh in with your party?
Oh, I have every intention of trying to talk this situation to resolution.
I'm kind of indifferent. Either way work.
Talking sounds good.
Yeah, even though I'm not there, I would say talking would be a normal thing to try.
A good first approach.
Talk first, bash later.
Mm-hmm. But also give us an idea how many people were there.
Well, Austin Stoken witnessed quite a few guards throughout their vigilance, trying to stake out the place. So,
What the hell is that?
my
Manny's cell
phone.
phone.
Yeah, Mandy's cell phone just alerted her that she has a email. So
Mandy's cell phone sounds like a cat. I thought it sounded like Pikachu.
it does when I get a text message, but my notification tones is the
What's
cat
up,
meow.
Kool-Aid?
Who was asking me about music software a while ago? I put a list of it in the general chat. Well, I'm asleep. Stoken's asleep, so Stoken can't be talking either. So
I'm not. I'm sorry.
yep, you're passed out, kicking your
Well,
feet, chasing
right.
rabbits in your sleep.
Let's get moving.
Jesus, y'all
Drilling
were
for
so
a
loud.
bone.
Why don't we go knock on the door and go through the front door and ask questions?
That's what I intend to do.
Who's going first? Who's gonna be our talker?
The guy with the highest charisma and the highest deception skill?
I think he's asleep.
What's your charisma? What's your charisma?
Right?
20.
Well, there's also persuasion too. You don't have to lie. You can also persuade.
Oh yeah, I've got a +5 in persuasion too.
Well, sounds like you're our talker.
Man,
Let's go knock on the door.
friggin' this
I've got a
character.
+6 on persuasion, 20 charisma.
This character's got a
what was
+11
the other
on
one you
We
wanted?
get it.
charming.
Both of you nobles are like stupidly good looking and whatever, but let's measure
Yeah.
up whose wand is bigger later.
It's hard to be humble when you're perfect and everything.
Hew.
Okay, let's go, Corin. Let's go see what this is about.
Oh my gosh. So this guy, some Stoken, because he's this wolf, or because he's this dog, he has under the ability to charm. He can basically
Get my
charm
plate-wearing
people with
friends
his,
flanking me and probably
his
the half-orc
fur.
up in front.
because he's
Okay.
a dog.
Just a typical formation. Made me look
That's fine.
important.
And this is like early morning, I presume.
Mm,
We
we'll
got
call
in-
it about
we
11
got-
a.m.
We got in early in the morning and briefed everybody on what we had seen. That was the last thing I remember. So
Yep. So we'll call it about 11 a.m.
Okay.
And who has the falcon with them?
I thought Bronwyn did.
Okay. Yep. You're right. I probably should make note of that before I forget again.
how does that work? The falcon's bigger than the fairy.
The fairy is actually like 5'5".
Yeah, she's like normal sized, I guess.
Oh, so it's an ogre fairy.
It's a troll fairy.
Internet troll.
Oh my god, I wish I had that face so I could just throw it up right now. I'm gonna have to add that to my stream at some point. Have just like a button to throw up the troll face.
There you go.
Alright. Might have to grab that later.
That's not the one I was thinking of.
That is the original.
Could have swore I had it, but apparently not. I'll have to find mine.
So where were you guys headed to?
The little building where they were.
The
Oh no.
Hey Ben, can you throw those labels up? The
y-
the
like I said,
pointers that were on the map.
I had to delete an add-on to get the label add-on that you wanted, so all the pointers are gone now.
Okay,
So
I will.
That's why I asked. You know, let me know where you want those labels again.
Alrighty. So pointers.
Alright, so
That's not what I wanted.
this is currently where they are.
Hold the left and right mouse button down, and then click and drag to where you want the pointer to point to.
It is for anybody that hadn't
Okay, so
been
it's
here to
backwards,
see.
but that's the building where all of the guards are.
It's
What are you
a
calling it?
city
I
in
thought
the wall.
I thought it was the one that was further down to the right.
That is the headquarters. That's like the
The town hall.
No. Well, it would be a town hall if it was a proper town. Basically, that's where the leader resides.
The leader resides.
Keep house? I don't know. I had a name for it and I can't find it. I don't know. Or I lost it in my head.
Okay, well that matters not. Let's go over there.
Yes, we're going to see Jalil.
Indeed. Freya, leave your brother alone.
I'm assuming it won't take us very long to get there. So what do we see when we walk up to the building?
You see two guards standing outside.
To a closed door and an open door.
Closed.
It's a horrible image, sis.
That's the internet troll.
I thought
I
that
thought
was
the one Jim posted was the internet troll.
That's my internet troll. Actually, it's Ashen's internet troll, but that's beside the point.
Well,
Are you
for
gonna
whatever reason,
ask
my
to speak with
stream is showing the wrong
J Law or
thing.
whatever the hell his name is?
Jaleel?
Jaleel, yeah, sure.
I guess whatevs. We'll just get through it tonight.
It's not a hard name.
Anyway, speaking to the guards, I will say that we have come as summoned by Jalil.
Do you have the the summons?
I don't know, do I still have that scroll? I don't think
Somebody
it's
should
ever
have
added
it.
to my inventory. I'll check my pockets. I'll assume I have it and just hand it over. Because it was never added to my inventory.
Okay. So they look it over and nod and open the door for you without saying anything further.
Awesome.
Let us walk through the door.
Let's enter the building.
I assume that there is some kind of room beyond the door.
Faint awe.
Or maybe a hallway.
Nothing's really there.
Basically, you walk into what looks like a den. It's kind of like your parlor at the estate. It's got fireplace and chairs and you.
Is there like a front of the room or something?
In the front of the room I envision would be where you just walked in from.
Are there anybody in this room?
There's a couple of guards standing by a door that leads off to the left.
Okay. So I guess we should go up to the guards and tell them that we're here to see that person, that I'm not going to try to abuse their name again.
They point behind them through the door.
Is the door open?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys, let's go through this door now.
All right.
Heartbeat.
You see a desk with another fireplace and a bunch of bookshelves with tomes and scrolls and the like on it. But you don't see any sign of the princess. You just see a very sun-bleached black leopard-like catfolk with the red armband that is signature to the guards you've seen in this place, sitting at the desk looking over papers and scrolls. And
Do I recognize him from the telepathic vision that I got the other day?
yes.
So I know this is Jalil.
Yes.
I'll glance around at the books and see what titles he's got real quick, without walking up to them.
Basically, it's a bunch of history and lore on the elves, the humans, the dwarves, half-elves, you see one that's like titled, the gnomish way, but other than that, they're all like learning and self-teaching books, like teaching yourself common, teaching learning how to learn to fit in, basically.
Self-help books.
Yeah.
How-tos.
Yeah.
Not what I would have expected from a leader, from such a leader as yourself.
He looks up and kind of cocks his head before scratching his left ear and goes, "Who are you and why are you here?"
I'll hand him the ransom letter.
I see. Could the Duke not take care of the business himself, I suppose?
Well, the Duke is a Duke. He's not going to do anything he doesn't have to do. So why would he come all the way out here to this?
Do you know what the Duke looks like?
No.
Then how do you know that I'm not the Duke?
Sounds like a roll coming.
No, it's a rhetorical question. There's no role necessary. It's like, are you an idiot?
Because you reek of magic.
Boom, boom, boom. The magic reek.
Interesting. Well, You're correct, I am not the Duke, but I am his representative.
To prove your worth, you must first prove that you can make it here.
Are we not here already?
That is not what I meant. When you first entered, you saw the ring outside. Beat our brawler in a fight, and we shall see if these negotiations, if you are worthy of these negotiations going any further.
I will do as you ask.
This is
After
not
I see that the
something
girl
they
is
should
well.
do. They should have Chan Win here for this.
Hey, Corn, I just sent you a message.
Very well, he says, and then he stands and he leads you through the kitchen and takes you down into the wine cellar and shows you where she is tied up with chains, and that she has food, clean water, and straw to at least lay in.
Does she appear somewhat clean and uninjured?
She is definitely uninjured, but, you know, it's a very dirty place, so of course she's gonna be dirty.
Hey, Corn, did you see the message I sent you?
I saw it. I'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
I was already planning that. So, this is the accommodations you've given her? Are the chains really necessary?
She might get away, you never
They
know.
are. And until you can prove otherwise that I should trust you or her, she remains my prisoner.
I merely meant that she is but one small-looking girl, and you have plenty of big, strong men.
Do you not know who her father is?
The realizations actually come apart.
I was under the impression it was her mother that was the Archmage.
Nope.
Feeble and frail with hands that glow.
Very well. Choose your champion and I shall choose mine.
He is the same champion we choose all the time. And he looks to his guards outside the door and says, "Go and fetch Binky."
I tried to keep a straight face at Binky.
Except I don't think your character would know what a Binky is.
No, just the name sounds ridiculous. I personally don't even know what Binky is.
It's a baby sucky thingy
It's a
majigger.
pacifier.
Ah,
I don't know why they call them binkies. That never was anything I had heard.
anyway. Who wants him? Jammer or a Krukus?
I can go at it.
Wouldn't you like to know the rules of this brawl?
Well, yeah, that might be important.
Very well.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Rule number 1. No weapons. Fists and feet only. Rule number 2. No armor. Rule number 3. No potions or other magical buffs or effects. Rule number 4, you cannot kill your opponent.
Aw.
Then how is the fight decided?
By knockout, of course.
5, no magic allowed. This includes heals. Healing may be done after the fight has been officially declared completed. And rule number 6, no metal allowed in the arena.
This was so geared towards Chan.
I was just thinking, where's Chan when we need him?
Both brawlers are allotted a locked chest in which to lock their personal belongings in. The key can be entrusted to a person of their choosing. Brawlers will be thoroughly searched for any weapons, armors, or magical effects before entering the arena.
Krukus.
Do you have any questions?
Not yet. Any questions, guys?
Sounds legitimate to me.
Where do we sit?
I'll use a telepathic sending to inquire to Krukus. You're good with fists, right? Psst, think back at me.
Okay, I'm gonna PM you.
I mean,
Can't have you rub houses behind me. Go, kennel.
Does non-magical telepathy count? I'm not saying that out loud.
I would say
I
probably
would think not, because it's not combat based. There's no benefit to combat.
What was the wording of it? No magical effects or buffs?
Yep.
Yep, pretty much.
Hey Jim, would you check your private message, please?
What?
No.
In Discord.
Nobody wants to talk to you, Clayton.
Yeah, no shit.
You have until 2 p.m. to choose your champion.
This shall be a brawl of the ages.
I think that Krukus will be our champion.
Boom, 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 boom. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Who is Krukus?
I'll
would be
gesture
I.
at the orc.
Wise choice.
It's because Binky's a monster.
In addition, we will decide upon a neutral party to judge this event to make sure that all parties mind the rules. You may choose your referee as it will, and I will referee on my end.
Refereeing.
Do not events of such high stakes tend to need someone to make sure that all rules are being followed to make it fair and just. It is what I read in these books.
Welcome, Wildcard. Thanks for joining the stream.
Indeed, but usually there's only one referee that is a neutral party to someone who's not stands to gain nothing from one side or the other.
We do have one person who tends to spend at least 2 days a week here. She She is our healer. She is a half elf. And she travels for supplies, but she prefers to help those who are lesser fortunate. If she is agreeable to you, then I shall have her fetched.
Any objections, guys?
What? Why do we have a healer coming over?
To be a judge.
Oh, okay.
Or not the judge, but the referee or whatever.
Right, okay.
Basically, she's an unbiased party.
And she'll be the only referee? Or is that in addition to the one on each side?
That would be the unbiased, because you can guarantee that sides are going to basically be biased towards their own brawler.
Right.
Who's the one competing? Kirkus?
Rucus.
So she'll be there
Then
just to make...
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, she's just there to make tiebreakers or whatever, say what's what. So yeah, I'm cool with it.
You know, she's basically there to say, you know, one party or the other is the winner. Like, she can declare, with her being a healer, she can declare one person KO'd or whatever, but she also will have the guts to say, no, you're wrong, to either Jaleel or whoever is the party on Krukus's half. Cricket, cricket. Cricket, cricket.
Shall we get started then?
Sounds okay to me.
Who have you chosen as your judge?
I'll say Christoph.
There you go. I'll be the judge.
Very well.
May this fight ever be in your honor.
I was thinking more, may the odds be ever in your favor, but okay.
Nah, there's no odds.
We will meet at 2, because it will take some time to explain the situation to our two parties. If Christoph wishes to accompany my guard to retrieve the healer so as to ensure no
Unbiased
word gets
diplomacy.
misspoken, he is welcome to do so.
Sure.
Very well. He points to a guard that's basically sitting or standing in the den or the entry area, and says, "Go and retrieve Lily Lavender and return here by 2. Ensure that she understands what is at stake."
I guess I'll just be following.
Alright, guys, so
Okay,
this is
so
kind of a
as
slow start for
Christoph
this one,
is
we're getting somewhere, I promise.
following this guard around.
Following a guard.
Krukus, how are you preparing for this?
Push it.
How much time do I have before the thing starts? Roughly what time is it?
At this point, you have like 2 hours to dispel any buffs or magical effects you may have on you, because it's an automatic disqualification if you break the rules.
Okay, don't have any of those on me. Probably just do some, like, warming up in preparation for it.
Who are you entrusting your chest key to if you are putting personal effects in the chest?
Corin.
Everybody.
Okay. Corin, you need to make sure that you don't lose that key.
Key? What key?
So what exactly is Krukus wearing if he isn't wearing his armor now?
Just
Probably just a
crappy clothes.
Or butt plug.
Probably just pants.
God, I hope he's got something covering him up a little bit.
You wear clothes under armor.
Yes. Otherwise,
Well,
you would
very
shave yourself really fast.
Very thin, weathered clothes.
Actually, you wear an arming set of clothes, and then below that's your regular clothing.
Well, yeah, like your what would have like the chainmail and whatnot or whatever was underneath to keep the actually from puncturing it and into you usually. It's so quiet.
Cricket.
I'm just waiting for the plot to advance.
Okay, so
Boom, boom. Okay, here we go.
as
Do-do-do.
2 o'clock rolls around, Krukus is thoroughly searched by Lily to make sure he has no magical effects, no metal, nothing. All of his personal effects, except for what's covering his personal bits.
Make sure you remove your earrings if you have any. Or tooth rings, or whatever it is that you guys wear.
Anyway,
And she finds Krukus to be in league with all of the rules. And hey, Jondrick,
Yes.
do you have Binky prepared?
Yeah.
Okay. As Krukus stands in the ring, this exceptionally large, tan catfolk with...
Okay. It's a catfolk. Okay. I set it for an orc, but
Okay. An orc works too. I
I can change it to a catfolk. No worries.
I thought I had discussed that with you previously, but it very well could have slipped my mind, so I'm sorry. He has sandy-colored fur and faintly, if close enough, you can see light brown, sparse tiger stripes. Basically, he's a liger.
I think I might have moved something on the map that wasn't.
I moved it back.
Okay, thank you.
What'd you move?
One of
Oh,
the
low ladder.
one of those things. I was trying to move the window. Apparently, those are draggable for players.
They are now because Mandy wanted labels.
Oh no.
Sorry that Mandy likes to have things labeled so that my players know what they are.
I most definitely like this ring. It's pretty sweet looking.
Okay, so was there anything else you had to do, Mandy, or no?
Nope, basically,
Alright,
Jaleel makes the announcement that it is Krukus versus Binky in a brawl to determine the worthiness of the outsiders to make decisions for the whole of the civilized world, basically. And he rings a loud bell, and that signifies the start of the fight.
Yeah, go ahead and roll initiative there, Kirkus.
Sorry.
Ignore that it's orc brawler or brawler.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have Krukus going against Binky. Binky's a cat folk.
Okay, so the cat begins first, and it will start charging towards you.
Holy cow, 60 feet. Dang. Dang.
On the sides between those columns, is that like wooden barriers, or what is that exactly?
There's basically pillars, and there's ladders going up to the pillars, like a elevated position, and then
Okay, what's between the pillars?
where the arrow's pointing at right now, that's a wooden walkway going from one pillar to the other,
On the ground or up in the air?
up in the air, up on top of the pillars.
Okay.
And what the arrow's pointing at now is a steel or kind of fenced in wall down on the ground.
Okay, how high is that wall?
Well, 8 feet.
So it's basically meant for once you're in that little runway, you're not to be coming out of it. So you either fight in it or you fight outside of it.
Yeah, the cat charged towards you, 60 feet, and ended his turn.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do.
Yep.
Busted in the face. Alright. Getting closer, guys. Getting closer.
I get a turn? I'm not gonna-
That's what I was wondering.
You're supposed to be cheering.
I thought he was supposed to be
Snoring.
asleep.
Me and Stoken are snoring.
Still at 2 p.m.
Said we didn't get to bed till 11.
No, you went to bed earlier than that.
Yeah,
Say
the cat
probably
will
6 or 7.
charge in, but kind of swing at you, but you basically got no. It's not really attack. It's just kind of attempting to scare you.
Okay.
You do notice at the bottom of your character sheet or your attacks, you have an unarmed attack. On your actions tab.
Yep, I got it.
Dang. Jesus. Bam, hit.
What was that?
That's called a punch.
Yeah, so you do a fair amount of damage to it. Kind of stumbles back a bit. So this thing here attempts to strike back at you.
Okay.
Oh, this was his first swing. And it will hit you with the second one.
How did it get 2 swings?
Well, you do too, but you just never took your second swing.
What? Oh, hell.
Left and right. Come on, guys.
You have an extra attack. You just never took
Wow.
it. You're taking it easy.
You're playing the fun game.
Look, this thing here smacks pretty good with the backhand. You do another solid hit on this thing. Kind of stumbles back a bit, and I'm kind of surprised that you did so much damage.
Second attack.
You smacked it again. This time here, actually doing a backhand swing.
Did it not take away my damage? Oh yeah, there it is.
This attack here, kind of pushes you with the first attack, barely doing any damage. But this kind of catches you off guard with the second one. And it kind of causes you to stumble backwards a bit. Your speed is reduced for 10 feet for a round.
Interesting.
Binky apparently appears to be no joke.
Yeah,
You were
with
saying?
with that, you catch it off guard. Quite a few strong blows, and it kind of stumbles backwards a bit and kind of falls to the ground. Low unconscious, knocked out.
And with this, Lily comes charging onto the arena and checks all of Banky's vitals, basically, and kind of looks up to where the other judges are sitting, so i.e. Kristoff and Jaleel, and says it's a KO. And with that, Jaleel stands and bows in respect to Krukus and turns to Kristoff, who's sitting next to him, and goes, "Have your people meet me back at my office after you have recharged your champion, and we shall discuss my terms over a meal."
All right, I think I got a spare battery in the back.
I didn't hear that.
Don't worry about it. It was a really cheesy joke.
Oh, but it was so great.
Oh, battery. Derp.
There you go.
And with that, he walks back towards his home. We'll call it a home. So, what is your action plan from here, fellas?
I guess I'll walk over to. Kirkus didn't get healed up by the late chick, did he?
Nope.
So I'll walk over and start patching him up. You're not that fucked up, so.
It's like you took a few unarmed hits.
Yeah, I didn't get to use a lot of his special abilities. I only got to use one, and it kind of sucked.
That's probably good then.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to do something really
Well, it was
spectacular.
nothing special. Nothing special. Like you had like a minus D6 to your attack. You get knocked prone.
I was waiting for like an uppercut or something, like knock him back or something.
Deal additional D6 damage. Knocks you back 5 feet.
Oh, okay.
Or the use of claws, because cat.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one too.
Alright. So we won our battle,
I'm probably good for now.
and now we have to go back to the town hall, I guess it is, to acquire
Kristoff,
the
are
princess.
you going to gather the rest of the party that's awake? And do you guys intend to wake Stoken and Ost for this evening meal or this afternoon meal? Basically, it's a lunch, but
I never went to the arena in the first place, so I'm already waiting for Jaleel.
Yeah, I guess we would just meet up with everyone and just trying to figure out.
So, Oh, apparently I'm awake now, but where am I? Like, on the map?
You're not on this map.
No, on the town hall map.
Oh.
Am I in the open roof building, or?
No, you are. Hold on, let me put a pointer.
I was just wondering, so I see how much
There.
distance I need to cover to get to
That's
wherever
the
I'm
inn.
supposed to go. Okay, so I'm at the very bottom. That's where me and Oss both are at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ost, are we gonna go join everybody else?
I presume we're awake now.
Alright. That's kind of what I figured after all the commotion.
All the noise from the arena.
Sure, we can go try the.
Is somebody going to fill Austin Stoken in on what happened?
I'll leave that detail to someone else. Probably Christoph.
Oh, we're
Kristoff
here.
would be in the best advantage to do so, or Jamror would be.
Jamror would be a good one.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, I was reading
Oh
an
my
item
God.
to figure out if I wanted to actually expend one of my spell slots or use my pearl thing for that heal spell. Did we not grab Austin Stoken yet? Or am I in the process of grabbing them? I missed like the last 4 sentences.
Basically, I guess they're going to meet you guys at the town hall, or I guess wander the small area to try and find out where you are, if nobody goes and retrieves them.
I thought that Christoph was going to go and retrieve them.
Well, it's not like I can't sniff my way through a city to find out where my friends are.
This is true.
Quit sniffing my butt.
We'll start wiping then.
I'm a fighter, I don't have to.
Just drop on the go.
Anyway,
I guess I'll be heading back and grabbing them and basically say we had Kirkus fight one of their dudes. Kirkus won. Was pretty straightforward fight, and now we're meeting to discuss terms of how we're going to get the princess back.
Did you find Mars
No.
or Zelda?
you keep cracking up when you're saying your line there. What?
Which one of us?
I think it was Jamror.
Yeah, Jamror, he keeps...
I get
Do I
the
keep
gist
cracking up?
of terrible jokes, but
Yeah,
Right.
that's about
they
it.
were rather out of place jokes, but
Out of character joke.
Alright, so
Well, anyway,
Gonna
I'm
be-
grabbing the guys and we're heading back to the town hall.
Alright, well, I'm coming out of the inn, I guess, to meet up with Kristoff, and it's just like, oh, you got a bow? You got a toy? What's up? What are we doing? It's daytime. I'm awake. Let's go. Come on, let's do something.
Oh dear, shut up.
Okay, so on the trip to wherever everybody else is, he's filling us in on all these details on what happened.
Not very detailed.
Come on, Chief.
Pretty much exactly
Wait.
what I said is what I said.
We're off our ride.
We went to talk to
There-
the J. Lil person. We had to fight to get. We had to prove we were worthy of continuing the negotiations, and now we're going back towards where they are so we can continue the negotiations.
There was a fight. We won. Krukus is naked. That's all I need to know.
By the by, Kirkus, refrain from saying that man's name in his presence.
What?
Jalililil.
I'm
Yes,
confused.
I'm actually rather scared of you calling him Jelly.
He's jelly of it.
Oh God.
Do it.
I posted a picture of Jaleel and just
That would be a dog. Jaleel is a cat person.
Gosh darn it, that's annoying.
Anyway, once we're all there,
You're missing the picture there, Paul. He
What
posted
picture
it
where?
in Mandy's campaign.
I don't see it here.
I don't see any picture there.
There's
The last one I see is what's his butt from Urkel from.
Yeah, his name is Jaleel White.
Oh, I didn't know
yeah.
that.
As soon as I
Oh,
opened it, I was like, "That's hilarious."
Lies. His name is either Urkel or Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan.
I never watched any shows that he was in, so I didn't know that was his first name.
Oh my God, he was super smooth when he was Stefan.
Yeah, which is closer to his actual real life personality.
Anyway,
Y'all meet up at the town hall, and the guards let you in without question, and you head right to Jaleel's office, and he puts down what he's working on and takes you to the dining hall where there is a nice luncheon type feast on the table. And
Roast? Do I smell roast? Is that carrots?
Is it-
corn?
is it-
What is that?
Shut up,
Is
cat dog.
is it safe for non-cat folk to eat it?
yes, he had it prepared with your stomachs in mind.
dogs don't carry it.
Correct. Dogs will eat vomit, so
Yeah, they'll
there you
eat
go.
anything.
Pretty much.
And shit.
Yeah, especially out of the cat box. It's their favorite. But anyways, he motions for you to sit down, and a guard brings Anais in to sit down and eat as well.
I will stand properly when she is.
She's not actually royalty, so I
No,
will still stand
she's
and
not,
respect.
but she's the Archmage's daughter. I don't know what you would call the family of an Archmage. I don't know that they have like a specific title.
It would depend upon the land they're from. But anyway, I'll still stand out of respect and help her with a chair.
She very politely but very quietly says thank you and takes her seat. And Jaleel, also showing respect, sits down after Anais has sat down. And he motions for you guys to serve yourselves first.
Where I am from, it is considered rude for the guest to eat before the host.
Actually, no. I believe etiquette would demand that guests are served. I'd
Indeed.
have to double check
Depends
that.
upon the land.
Well, basically, you gotta figure that Jaleel is going off of things he's read from what you have heard called the civilized world many times in your days worth of being in this little outpost.
Bum 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 bum. Gonna eat some.
And he looks to Corin and goes, I am to assume that you are the leader here?
So the rumor says.
Yeah, I guess so.
You do not sound very confident of that.
Oh, but I am. Now, you said we were to discuss your requests?
I want my people freed from the civilized world. The civilized world treats all of the Zavonians here with the utmost disrespect. They come and take us from our homes and from our families and beat us and use us as slaves.
Who is using your people's?
The civilized world. What we call the civilized world. I believe you call them the Allied territories. Basically, anyone more civilized than we are that live in the grasses.
I am not from this continent myself. Where I am from, such things are already illegal. However, to free every single one of your people will take time. Assuming that we can even make it happen at all.
I will release your Anais as soon as your princess, as soon as I have a show of good faith. You may be able to start small with either the any of our slaves that are within either the Duke's house or within the Archmage's house.
Yeah, I'm going to ask out of character just simply because I don't know the background on your world. Is slavery legal in all of these countries?
Nope, not in all of them. In fact, the Duke and the Archmage, you have not seen any catfolk or, well, you haven't met the Archmage, but being in the Duke's house, you saw no slaves that were catfolk or lizard folk.
Now,
But there was slaves.
No.
Now, also out of character, isn't, if I remember correctly, the Federation or whatnot that Anais is from is devoted to freedom?
Anais is from Andanoth, which is the magic capital of the world, basically. They don't use slaves, but you wouldn't know this as you aren't familiar with the government of Andanoth. You've only been in Andanoth very briefly. Wow.
Guess I really don't.
You've only been in Andanoth very briefly. What you saw no people being mistreated, per se. But then again, at the time you were there, you really weren't paying all that much attention. You were more there for get the information needed, get the the amulet you were after for Eldrick and get out. You didn't like being in their cemetery.
I will turn to the lady and ask if her father would be amenable to such a request.
Slaves are not not what you would think in Andanoth. At least within Ainsley, my father uses criminals to pay off their debts as basically free labor, if that's what you consider a slave. But we do not take people from their homes and families, as you say, to permanently use them as free labor.
Does Jaleel react to that?
Well,
He raises his eyebrow and looks at Anais and goes, "How do you keep your crime rates down then?" And she just basically explains that they have a choice. They can work off their debts, or they can be used as magical test subjects. Which, I don't know if you know much about magic, but, you know, magical test subjects tend to kind of explode now and then.
Well, to the layman, that would be an incredibly effective deterrent, I would imagine.
Okay. In our travels from wherever that first place was we started at when I joined, have we seen catfolk as slaves in any of these countries we've traveled?
If I recall correctly, we've seen a few in bars. I
You
remember that being
have,
pointed out.
yep, you have in Cairn. You saw a few in an inn, but it was not within the Duke's
right.
town, like his sovereign
It wasn't of his
estate.
territory.
And I believe that you did see them in, trying to find the world map.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to bring that up.
The reason I ask, and I'll explain this to the Duke, the reason, my purpose for my questions is, or the Duke, not Jaleel.
Yeah.
I want to call him Urkel. Jaleel is the slaves that are captured, I presume is being done so by slave traders. They have to be operating out of someplace. Surely your people have an idea where that.
We have feared to follow them any further than beyond our borders. They do not seem to go through the Andanoth borders. However, they do go up through Cairn and up into what you guys call the Allied territories. Beyond that, we, for fear of the repercussions, we have not crossed any boundaries we shouldn't, due to this war that we wage. We do cross to
Boom, 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 boom.
to further our agenda, to plant seeds of deceit and try and free our people. But we have lost so many Zavonians that we no, he is not.
But he's proper.
He's proper and he's smart.
Do we have any inclination of people looking up to him or following him in the city as kind of a city leader?
We have seen that, yes.
He is the leader of this outpost. He does. However, you cannot tell what his reputation would be in any of the other Zavonian cities or establishments. But here in Bandit's Bank, where you guys are, he definitely holds an air of respect from what you would consider underlings.
Well, Jaleel, I've noticed that you have a number of loyal followers, and your camp appears to be well patrolled and well armed. So I would guess that the people somewhere have an idea where the slaves are being taken from, where they're being shipped out of, and where they're being sold at. They've got to have a market for them somewhere. If we could get that information, that would be a great place to start.
Unfortunately, we do not have the people here presently, but we do often get representatives from Doak and Ak that bring us news and information, being as they are closer to the borders. When last I asked if they knew, the outpost was in Tharn somewhere. They could not pinpoint the exact city. I'm hoping that it is not Tharn City, because that is a heavily fortified and very busy city, which means our people could be going to any number of other places from there, because that is the major port city. We can watch on the cliffs and we see the ships come and go. However, distinguishing finer features, if our people are being moved to or from, that has not been something we've been able to discern. But basically, Dok and Ak watch our border, as does Mok from the Felswar border, but we watch the Strait, and we watch Tharn, and...
So, do these raiders come by land or by sea?
by land.
So
And
they're-
mostly
they're
they are
leading-
taken
they're
from...
leading Livonia across the border into Amdanon.
They are actually traveling through the little sliver of Cairn that borders our territory.
I would suggest that would be a good place to start our attempting to locate where the slave trade is at and who's conducting.
You forget the slave trade is actually legal where in that territory. We're not going to be able to just bust in there and take them out. However, what would it be worth to you? What would it be worth to you?
What the fuck is that?
Will you guys shut up?
Yes,
I'm
please,
talking
let
here.
Corin speak.
What would it be worth to you, Jaleel, if I could perhaps find a way to provide you with slavers' routes so that you could actually start ambushing them and fighting back? Maybe setting traps.
I'm not sure if an open war is what they're at.
They're
Well,
already,
they're
at an
already
open war.
in open war.
A losing war.
Okay, I'm not seeing on the map where we started from, where this Duke's...
I never got a map to come up, so...
Oh, I never shared one. He would have opened it himself.
Tulo is right about there. in Cairn.
How do you open images in this thing?
You click images and maps, and then click on the world map.
If you can't find the world map in that soup, there's a search box on the bottom.
You also need to change the drop down from whatever the default one is to new.
I used all. And then just search for the word world.
So where's this marker you put there? That little circle?
Yeah, it's the bright pink one.
And what's that area called?
The Tulo? And then you guys are currently...
Just south of where it says Tharn, right? Over by Roke.
Nope. You are right there. Where
right
I put...
below where it says Tharn.
Yeah. You're right about there where I put the circle in Zavonia.
Zavonia is also where we went through that city that had all the lizard folk and the cat folks that Chan Wen didn't like when he was with the group.
Well, we are in that country now. Anyway.
Yes, you guys have gone through Duck, which being as you are outsiders is why, and you looked like the slave traders is why you guys got glared at and made to feel very, very uncomfortable.
Jaleel, do you have any influence with the people in the border towns that guard your border?
I sit upon a council, and we meet at least every other month to bring about new information that we have gathered. However, I do not know how well my word will be accepted.
But if you sit upon a council, you're one of the ruling parties of the country.
I don't know about ruling, but I do have a voice.
Okay, can you provide us with letters of introduction or letters of marque so that it can help our travels and our attempts at resolving some of these problems out?
He sits and ponders a moment and goes, perhaps, but it may be something that I may be able to best do in person if you do not mind my accompaniment.
He's a cat folk, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I was saying, would you release her in exchange for information on where and how to hit the slavers?
You would condone open war against your own people?
I detest the very practice and thought and idea behind slavery. I do not consider slavers as my people.
Yes, but it is all of the civilized world that takes our people as slaves.
But don't we, out of character, don't we know of countries or areas in the map that are, what are we calling them, regions that don't allow slavery?
That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, Anais has said that Andanoth does not take on unwilling slaves.
So like indentured servitude.
Yeah, but they want all slavery annulled.
Indentured servitude though is
No, they don't want all of it annulled. They just want their
their own
people. They want their people to be treated as equals to the civilized world. Basically, stop treating them like the Nords and Dunmer treat the Argonians and Khajiit in Skyrim.
So they want to be equals, is what it sounds like.
Essentially.
Could we as adventurers put out that, like, to that, like, acknowledge it to them as if we come across it, we will correct it, but also knowing that we can't just fight a world war of stopping slavery for them.
the point I was trying to make is indentured servitude is voluntary, and usually it's in exchange for something. I think
Right.
what they're after, if I understand it, is that they're after an end to the ones that are being forcibly taken and forced
Right.
into slavery.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't want their people to be taken into slavery.
Basically, what Jaleel is saying is that he cannot speak for humans or elves or gnomes or other species that are being forced into slavery. Or even, you have a slave yourself. He cannot speak for those slaves. He can only speak for his people, so he is only negotiating for the release of his people.
Okay, so my question that I had earlier is valid. In these countries, is forced slavery legal?
In the Allied territories, definitely. Lesto, Felswar, and Kessler.
Would you do me a
I haven't
favor and
decided yet.
somewhere make a list of what these allied territories are?
Yeah, it is Cairn, Bost, and Tharn. Those are the 3 Allied territories.
The 3 at the top.
Just the 3 at the
Yep.
top.
They
For
are
now,
they're
are
the only ones that have forced slavery that's legal.
that Jaleel is aware of.
That's something to work with.
As far as the others that are more to the east, or west rather, it's uncertain because you guys haven't been into those territories yet to know about their government system and how things are. You've been into Lesto a little.
Okay, we've been into Lesto. We would know whether there's prevalent slavery and how they're being treated.
We were only on the corner of Lesto, though.
There's still,
you were in Gapsburg and in Ono Oso.
Right.
So
you traveled through.
Right. Basically, you didn't pay attention to how people were treated. So, Gapsburg is just a small itty-bitty village. So, basically, when you got to Ono Oso, you noticed that there were apprentices because it's a major teaching facility. Basically, it's like this. It's a whole festival that you were there to prevent the onslaught of undead taking over. Is based around taking on apprenticeships, but you didn't see any catfolk or lizard folk. Even in the inn where you went and spent time, you didn't notice any of these people. So you can probably assume that in less though, they don't do slaves per se.
So does he know what the slaves mainly do in majority? Like what their normal tasks are? Like are they used in farming or just every kind of, you know?
Sup,
Our people are
Kool-Aid?
pretty hardy, so I have heard tale that they are used for farming. They're used in households like the royal families. They are used in
Menial
for
labor.
free labor, basically in like repairing armor, doing the menial tasks that people who see us as below them
They basically do
divvy
this.
out to them.
Okay, so I have another question.
What's that?
Do you develop your own, you know, technology to improve your daily lives and stuff like that? Like, do you build machinery to help do work easier?
Not really. We're
Because
pretty primitive compared to what you would use in the civilized world. Like, we have irrigation channels, but we don't work our horses to plow our fields. That's something we do with a hoe, basically.
So you're basically laborers. I mean, you are actual laborers.
They're not craftsmen
No,
or engineers.
no. It's something they have to learn on their own.
Okay,
Hence
Jaleel,
why they wear leather armor and have crappy weaponry.
okay, Jaleel, and I don't want to sound calloused here because I'm actually very, very interested in your cause. I don't believe in slavery myself, but we would have to have some means of negotiating and trying to put an end to this aside from the humanity side of it. What can we bring to a table if we are approached to allied territories that can help put an end to the slavery without it being coming down to an open war that you may or may not win?
They're already at war.
We don't want to make it worse.
We traveled through that area, and never once was it ever mentioned that we were traveling through army lines or that we were traveling through picket lines or guard lines. Or so it's not a very active open war.
I mean,
What are they in war with? Are they in war with the civilized world or what?
Mostly with Cairn, Boston, Tharn. Mostly with the allied territories. Andanoth has kind of tried to stay out of it as much as possible. It is an open war, but being as you were on official business for the Duke had arranged ahead of time to allow you through the lines.
That's through their lines, not through Zavonia's line.
True.
I mean, there's two sides to a war, so we really didn't see a lot of evidence in our travels, both out of Felswar or whatever it was, less so, and up. I mean, we didn't see a lot of evidence of open warfare, especially the kind of warfare that would take place back at them time. Massive armies on borders and
right, and like, I mean, they're just
so it's more of a, I would see it more as a Cold War type deal where you're not seeing open warfare, you're not seeing massive castle sieges and 100,000 man armies marching across borders and
No,
So
it is
it's
not like
mostly
that.
desert. So
It's-
I
It
thought
is.
them to be more of a marauderish society.
Yeah, more of a raiding type warfare than
They
it
are.
is.
They're not. They're not. Their civilization is not advanced enough for castle sieges and things. More like a burning of crops or um, sneaking in, freeing the slaves, and sneaking out
Sacking
again.
small villages. I mean, we all, I think,
Yeah.
watch Game of Thrones, so we're talking about like wildlings.
Yeah.
Basically, that type of warfare where when they're in mass, they're very powerful, but most of the time it's just Viking type raids.
Yep.
There's many ways to approach this.
Yeah,
Precisely, diplomacy would be my first choice as my character.
Ditto.
Would not
We
be
would-
mine.
Jaleel looks to Corin and then to Austin and goes, basically, I would like to see our people treated fairly. We are willing to work for them. However, we wish to have equal opportunity to pay and education and
So basically, you're not opposed to your people being indentured servants that are learning a trade, but it has a definite end to their contract. I mean, they work for 3 years in an apprenticeship, and then they're free to start their own shop or whatever.
yes, we wish to see our people treated equally.
they want
Have
to be
equal
better.
opportunity to we wish to see our people be accepted as more than just peons.
I would say, with all due respect, that kidnapping a girl is the wrong way to win that.
How else were we to get your attention?
I think it would be more a matter, and I agree with kidnapping does not send a good message to take from a diplomacy standpoint. It's more of a terrorist tactic, and
Exactly.
I would say that you might have been better off approaching some of the countries that are more I'm trying to think of the
Adapted.
word I'm trying.
What is your
Yeah.
relationship with Felswar, for example?
Felswar is full of dwarves. We leave them alone, they leave us alone.
I was thinking perhaps using another country as an intermediary. For example, as the Lady Anise has stated, Andanoth does not take unwilling slaves.
This
Except for
we were not
criminals.
aware of.
By
Like you
contacting
s-
the right people, and perhaps this Duke that we are here on business for would be willing. I mean, if you can get people to come together and discuss your problems, let them discuss their problems, and reach a diplomatic solution, it's always a wiser choice over open warfare.
Come, Ost, you're from the noble houses. Even among our own people, the nobles tend to look down upon those who are lesser than them. That said, approaching the right people is probably the best way.
I would think that Jaleel traveling with us is probably going to bring in a host of additional problems, but I also think that it would be a gesture that would be well received in countries aside from the Allied territory. And maybe that we would be better off if he'd be willing to return the Duke's daughter and to meet us in a neutral location that is not inside the Allied territories, that is not inside Zavonia, say Andanoth somewhere, and to sit down and talk about it.
We may be able to get the monarch of the attention of the monarchs through our contact. I can't remember the name of the man who gave us that estate.
I don't know. I wasn't with you at that point.
Are you talking about Eldrick?
Him, yes.
I mean, we've had some contact with some people that would be great to set in on as third party intermediaries. We've got people in
Well,
Ono Oso.
You see, Eldrick, the man who gave us the estate in the first place, he regularly dines with the royalty of all three countries, which we could use that contact to get said royalties to the table in a neutral location.
Well, we have to take something to the table that they're willing to give, as well as something that they want in return. They're willing to work as indentured servants, which
If you also
or at least a
remember,
pentai.
if you also remember, the Duke is set to marry Anais to bring Andonoth into the Allied territories. That doesn't mean that Andonoth is going to have to leave their rules and anti-slavery behind. It just means that the Allied territories are looking to expand. So
I would think, in fact, the opposite would be true. If they want Andonoth in badly enough, maybe they would be willing to create some anti-slavery concessions.
I think it's as far as the negotiations over the slavery would be something that would be best with the leaders of the people, but we have to start somewhere, and the best place to start would be us in a neutral territory, which currently would be Andonoth. Especially if we're going to take Jaleel with us. We do not want to have Jaleel get captured out from underneath us in Karn or...
Of course not, no. And we're sitting here speculating in front of him. We can probably, I at least have a couple of contacts that may be able to get something put in motion for freeing maybe a few of your people. I don't know how many, double digits at least. But if you want the respect of the civilized world, you are going to have to do some of the things, at least, in ways that our society will respect. And releasing the girl is probably the first step.
And making sure she's treated well.
Does she not dine with us?
It's not just about dining with you, it's about treating her according to her status.
Releasing her to her
Yes.
father in hand, being there doing it, would show
No.
faith that he was willing to give that up in front of him.
Especially
Perhaps.
if all you're asking in return, Jaleel, would be the opportunity to sit down and discuss. You're not asking for money, you're not asking for territory, you're just wanting the opportunity to sit down and open a channel for negotiations to try and put an end to it.
Indeed.
All of us as a party have made mistakes. Every mistake can be corrected in the right terms.
You know, you could also offer land to Andonoth to help. You know, what is it?
Now that's an idea.
Because they have just about the same territory, you know, square footage or whatever, square miles or whatever, as the other three, or those three, and you know, giving them more territory would be something that would, if you can afford to give up that territory.
Yeah, I don't think Jaleel's got the authority for that kind of a concession. I'm not sure.
I do not.
Probably not. Now,
And who would want our desert anyway when they have
Now the cat
grasslands?
people, right? The cat people, as I understand it, are more tribal than anything.
Yeah.
Clannish.
Yep.
if, for example, and Andonoth might be interested, I can't speak to them because I have not actually traveled much in there. But if they do not allow unwilling slaves, then yielding the territory that is currently bordering Zavonia and I can't read that through the word Tulo. I believe it's Cairn.
Mm-hmm.
Yielding that territory along their border would create an additional Andanoth Cairn border instead, which slaves and therefore slavers would not be allowed to pass through, which would cut down on the raiding parties. In effect, the allied territories would have to go through their own ally in order to get to you.
And my concern would be that they would switch from overland to switching to oversea, just shipping them by boat.
Oversea is easier to spot.
Well, if it's legal though in that area, then we wouldn't be gaining much, would we?
It would increase their costs, though.
Yep. Make it unprofitable. And they'd have to pass through a no-slave zone, which the border inspectors would just tell them to let them go.
Well,
Assuming they got
regardless, I believe the opening move would be on Jalil's part to open negotiations, return the daughter, and sit in here and talk to people that might be sympathetic to his cause, and it would be a gesture of goodwill to return the daughter and sit down at a table as an equal and talk to the people that might be able to help.
This is like
What we would need to do would be to get people that's willing to sit and talk with him.
Because this is like a many years kind of.
Yeah, I don't see this being a Daenerys Stormborn come in and blow everything up and just re-end slavery instantly.
Yeah, probably a lot of negotiation, lots of time.
It'll
Right.
take
Bring a little
weeks
people
just to
here,
set up
bring a
a
little
single
people
meeting.
there.
Because essentially, you have to make slavery worth less than what they currently, use slaves for.
Yeah,
So
if you
gotta
make it where, I agree. If you make it where it's worth more to them to use indentured servants,
or just hire people.
right? As far as racial biases, welcome to modern times. As far as racial biases, all we can ever do is treat somebody as an equal ourselves. We're not going to change the way of a world when it comes to racial biases. If they see that the people act honorably and that they, good, hard, dedicated workers, they'll be accepted by people, even if it takes several generations to do so.
So what
I mean-
I propose at this exact second is let the girl leave with us, and we will perform every act within our power to get some of your people released and set up a meeting that will hopefully lead to ending the practice entirely.
I believe
Can we-
and out of
Can
character
we offer to
here-
take him with us?
Yeah, out of character here, Jalil asked to attempt to accompany us, I believe.
He did. He's not asking you to be the voice of his people. He's asking to have help, basically. But he, being a lesser advanced civilization, and knowing now that their people are taken and captured and used as slaves, he basically tells you that his capture of the princess was to get your attention, to get you on his territory where things can be controlled basically by him without intervening from other parties or other cities. He tells you that he felt that giving his limited resources and his limited knowledge on how things work, that he thought this would be the most ideal way to get to get somebody's attention.
Could we not take him with us and see if we can get some information in DOK?
I wouldn't take him any further than Doc.
I think
Just
if we
for
went,
his own
I think if
safety.
I think if we went into Andanoth, we would be fine.
He would be fine in Andanoth.
Like say, go to Dock and then go across to Andanoth. See if maybe we could gather or get some more information in Dock, since we would have him with us as a non-slave.
What I would not do would be to recommend crossing into Cairn with him.
No, not at all.
No, if
That's
we
why I
go,
go to Andanoth after the fact.
No. Wouldn't do that. Or wouldn't go into Cairn, I mean.
I think going to Dock, or however you say that, would probably be a first good option. Or maybe Ankh, A-OK.
Are the other tribe chieftains or clan leaders or whatever your official title is, are they also on board with this plan of yours?
Dolk was. Auk was on the fence, but figured that the female representative from there decided that because she was far enough away that she would leave the decision to those of us that it would affect the most.
So the only clan that's losing people to forced slavery is Doc and whatever his clan name is?
Yes. Basically because I have outsiders coming here all the time to flee the civilized world, or the outcasted, or the godless that choose not to live under a god or a god's rule. Because we have so many people that come here, we are isolated, and we tend to seem like easy pickings because we are so isolated.
There is safety in numbers, you know.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
We will travel to Dok tomorrow, if that is your wish, and then we will convene on to Ainsley after we have had a chance to speak with the Dok councilman.
Can we ask if the woman's coming with us?
Anna East? Is that who you're referring to?
Yeah, the princess chick.
I would not leave her here to... If you feel that returning her to Ainsley is what is best to get my agenda achieved, then that is what I am willing to do.
Weren't we supposed to take her back to Balsk?
No. We're supposed to take her back to Ainsley.
Sounds like a pretty good plan to me.
I thought the dude wanted Ainsley to not know that she'd been taken.
No, when she was captured, Gerard the guard, one of her guardsmen, sent a letter to the Duke in Tulo and sent a letter to the Archmage in Ainsley. Both the same letter stating the same thing.
So Ainsley would be the best place to go at this point, sounds like.
Especially since we should expect a response from Ainsley probably very soon.
We have the Falcon to deliver a message to the Duke, correct?
Yep.
Fixing to say, use that. Go to the Duke. Have him meet us in Ansley.
Well, the Duke is already on the way to Ainsley anyway.
Oh well, then let's go to Dock and then Ainsley with the cat creature and the princess.
Alrighty, good plan.
Okay.
Now can I eat some of this food on this table?
I thought
No.
we were eating and talking at the same time.
I heard no full mouths. Nom 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 nom.
Okay,
nom,
so
nom,
what's
nom,
the next
nom,
plan
nom.
here?
Basically, empty plates are being removed by the kitchen staff, and
Might I recommend that the princess, if that is indeed what she is a princess,
she's
Yeah.
not a princess, but I don't know what else to call her. And basically, that's what Jaleel calls her because he doesn't understand how Andonoth's
I
So-
just
government works.
refer to her as a lady.
just let's allow her to get cleaned up and look very presentable and get some nice travel clothes and some decent looking clothes. Treat her more according to her station, whatever that.
He nods and looks to the guard that's been standing behind Anais this whole time and says, "Draw her a bath and retrieve her some finer clothing if you are able to find any in the markets." She shall sleep in the guest quarters tonight.
And I will stand and look at the lady and slightly bow. And by the way, how old is this princess?
She's 17.
And ask her if that would meet her needs for the time being.
It will. And I will see that my father is aware that Jaleel graciously agreed to release me in exchange for the exchange that shall happen upon our arrival. If you could have the Duke prepared in your letter.
Yes,
Fine.
we shall.
Now, Jaleel and my lady, any road you travel, regardless of what land you're in, can sometimes be fraught with danger. I presume that Jaleel, you are capable of defending yourself. What about you, my lady? Are you have any skills in combat?
Anais replies, "I do not. I have lived a cushy, sheltered life, and as of yet, as far as I know, I have no magic."
Very good.
But Jaleel looks to you and says, "I am capable of defending myself and others should the need arise."
We will, between all of us put together, we will have no trouble fending off anyone trying to harm her.
Karan, you're the party spokesperson.
Trying to be.
Okay. I would recommend that we keep her in an easily guarded position in our travels somewhere in the center so that we can.
Wedge form, her in the middle.
Never know what we'll run into on the road.
Indeed, especially in these times. Are you prepared for what must be done should we encounter slavers?
I will not hesitate to open a slaver's head.
Jaleel smiles a catty, toothy grin and says, "Very well. You shall have two of you are welcome to stay within the town hall with me this evening to ensure your princess's safety and well treatment if that is your wish. Otherwise, I will send a guard with word from me that you guys are to have an evening meal and free board."
Thank you. Milady Anais, if you don't mind, what exactly is your actual title?
Basically, okay, so out of character, the way Andanoth's government works is kind of like our government here in the United States. We have a president, we have his vice president, we have the cabinet underneath us. Right? So basically that's how Andanoth works. So first daughter, I guess? I mean, if you consider that the president's wife is called the first lady, and you have the first children, so she's a first child. I don't know what that would translate to in terms back then. So, a lady, I guess.
Very well.
Nah.
Alst, you and I are probably the most capable of, the most learned with keeping up with the trappings of station.
I honestly don't know about the backgrounds of the rest of the party, whether or not there's any other of with negotiation skills amongst the.
Well, I still do not have a character biography from Krukus.
I don't
Yeah,
think
well.
negotiation's going to be high on his priorities.
Well,
No,
being
not at all.
as he's kind of the strong silent type, I would guess not either. However,
Smash.
you do have a militiaman, and you have a man of God. So, and then you have a wild heathen type.
Who's going to write the letter that's going back to the Duke?
That would be me.
Does Ost even know how to write?
Yes, Ost is quite adept at.
Look at this picture. He's just like, he's got everything going for him.
That suave hair.
How it blows in the wind.
So is this princess pretty?
So I knew that was coming.
She's blonde, blue eyes.
I prefer ginger.
Yeah, well, she's a blonde. And I think that only Corin would understand this, but think Jaina Proudmore.
Ah.
Yeah, that don't mean anything.
Yeah, I didn't figure because you're not a WoW player.
No. nor will I ever be a WoW player.
Your loss.
Meh.
It's
He's not
fun for
missing much.
some times, but it's not fun for a long time.
Wow, it's always been fun to me.
I can't handle the grind of it.
I sat and watched somebody playing on Twitch the other night, and I sit there the whole time saying, "What's the point?"
Yeah, there's guys that I watch on it sometimes. They'll run the dungeons over and over and over, helping people, and I'm just like, I can't do that.
Look at the picture. Pretty picture.
What picture where?
Discord.
She dresses like that?
Well, she's not
Oh,
currently
wow.
dressed like that. She's kind of got more she's got travel robes on.
Because
And
that's
we
not
leave-
how you.
We leave in
That's
the
not-
morning. Oh, I broke it.
Yes, Jamrar. To answer your question, you leave in the morning.
Thank you, Stoken.
That's a much better picture.
Yeah, that's got to be a cosplayer.
It's a deviant
Mm.
art.
Yeah, it's a fan art.
It's also a little bit more realistic.
Mm-hmm. Wish I could draw like that.
You can. You can draw like that. It just takes a long time. You just gotta, keep on drawing until you get to that kind of stage.
Mine always ends up looking like a kindergarten got a hold of a piece of paper with crayon.
I can't even draw stick figures in proportion, so yeah.
Oh my god.
They always have really big heads and little bitty bodies.
Alright, well, Stoken is going to meander off into wherever to sleep off his overeating.
I was fixing to say we probably need to sleep overnight so we can leave in the morning.
Yep. So is someone going to take up the offer to stay in the town hall to kind of keep an eye on Anais and how things are going, or?
I will.
I
Yeah,
can stay, I don't mind.
However,
Okay.
me and I'm gonna say the Holy Man.
No, I thought it was Ost that volunteered.
Mm-hmm. No, we
Lots
don't
of
want
us
to alienate
volunteered.
Andanoth.
You can have lots of little Osts running around. I have no problem with that.
Exactly why I
Populated
said not
town.
Ost.
She's betrothed to the Duke.
Okay, I
takes-
watched Game of Thrones. I see how that works.
It
Exactly
takes
why
time.
I did not say Ost.
I know what led up to the Red Wedding.
Lots and lots of people dying.
No, lots and lots of people died at the Red Wedding.
There were quite a few people that died before.
Pretty much
And after.
everything in the entirety of Game of Thrones can be blamed on Redacted.
Death. Lots and lots of death.
Anyone here not see the last season?
The fact that I have to wait till July for season 8 just don't set well.
I've never
I thought it was
watched
longer
Game of
than
Thrones.
July. I thought it was another year in July.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Whoa, that's like sacrilege.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I've watched like 1 or 2 episodes, but that's like in between. Like, I don't even know what the hell's going on other than the whoever writes it keeps on killing off characters. That's all I know.
Yeah,
George
so-
R. Martin is evil. He is
It's-
the epitome of evil.
So he can piss you off, and you got to come back next week and see if they get revenge.
This says the next season of Game of Thrones will be late 2018, early 2019, not June. And rumor has it more likely 2019.
Did you see what they did to the budget for?
Didn't they cut it down a whole bunch?
No, they like doubled the budget for
did
the last
Really? Well, it's supposed to be the
Nice.
supposed to be the last. Like, they're not supposed to do anything past that except for a spin-off, I heard.
season. Right, it's
There's
the last
apparently
season.
like 5 potential spin-offs.
Yeah, and
Like,
I think it's gonna be geared.
Everything that has gone wrong to date south of the wall, I blame squarely on Peter Baelish.
Right.
But they killed him.
That's not exactly a problem anymore.
He got exactly what was coming to him, just not soon enough.
Exactly what was coming to him.
Yeah, when Bayless got his reward for killing off one of my favorite characters, I was like, hell yeah.
During that whole scene in the Great Hall in Winterfell, I was watching Baelish edging closer to Arya. I'm like, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, edging closer to Arya is never really a good idea.
Yeah, she's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Even more badass than she was to start with.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Okay, so y'all have a long rest.
Yay!
So we get
Long rest.
health
Speaking of
back, right?
rests, is it okay we take a break?
How much health did we get back for our long rest? And it like 2
All of
days?
it.
No, with the long rest, it's all of it.
You are actually the only one that was hurt since our last long rest, so.
Yes, I know. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, if you guys want to take like 5 minutes so I can work on notes, go ahead and refill your glasses, urinate, do what you need to do. We actually have like 30 minutes, so I just want to get caught up on notes on some of the things you guys talked about.
Here's a question. Do we want to wrap it up here at a good stopping point instead of in the middle of a cliffhanger?
I'm not particularly fond of cliffhangers.
And pick up leaving to go on this grand adventure next Tuesday, or what do we want to do? Although next Tuesday is Halloween.
Yeah,
It is.
and I know, and I know that Ost won't be here because he's got to take kids trick-or-treating. Jim, I don't know how old your kids are.
I have no kid.
I confirm I will not be here next Tuesday.
Okay.
Sounds like
So
no
there's-
session next Tuesday.
There's 2 down, so Ben, do you want to prepare a one-off or to finish the one-off, or...
Yeah, I can do something.
I mean, as far as I know, I'm supposed to be off, but
You guys
That-
can hear me, right?
yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you, Ben. But then that's also subject to change at any moment. But I also don't have my stupid manager anymore, so I'm probably gonna be off.
You're not fooling anybody, Ryan. Everybody knows you're off.
Ha ha ha.
It's up to you guys. If you want to play the last 30 minutes, that's fine and great. But I was just thinking, as we're fixing to leave, this would be a really good spot to
It
call
would
it.
it would probably help Stoken for you guys to wait and then fill him in next when we play again, because you know he's gonna have umpteen million questions.
I actually am scheduled to talk to him after session, so
Awesome.
I can fill him in, and we're supposed to talk about a game plan for his character, because Stoken may be taking a back seat, and we may be bringing Chan back in, because Kevin does not have the state of mind to play right now. So,
Also, Mandy, when you talk to him, let him know that this will be posted up on YouTube, and he can go to my page and watch it there if he really wants to just get caught up that way.
okay, I can send him
'Cause
the link.
I'm streaming it, so it's going to be on my Twitch as a backed up video, and then it'll also be on my YouTube probably later tonight.
You're streaming this session?
Yep.
Alright, Ben, stop.
Yeah,
I'm putting my wifey foot down. Stop.
I've streamed the last two, Clayton.
Like I say, it's up to you guys. Whatever the party wants to do, I'm okay either way.
I think it
I'm
is
okay with
actually a good idea. I actually think it's a good idea to stop on this note.
Yep.
Because if you guys get into the middle of things in Doak, then Ben has to stop it because he has to work in the mornings. He is a bright and early get up and go person. So,
Yeah, I got to leave for Wichita very early in the morning.
so if, you know,
Just keep in mind, it'll
Okay
be
with
at least 2 weeks before we can play again. So
Yep.
right, but that gives me time to write out the stuff that needs to be said in Doak and all the stuff we discussed tonight. So,
I'll spend the 2 weeks whining and dining the print.
Yeah, that's right.
you're more than welcome to try, but we'll see how Anais and how persuasive Mr. Ost can be.
Quite.
And now that you said that, you're going to roll a 1 on your attempt to persuade her.
I can't roll a 1. Even if I roll a 1, it's a 7.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm so... It's...
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Right?
Yeah, we got
Anyway,
a plus 5 for
what's
persuasion.
John Drick thing? Is this a good time to call it John Drick? Or?
No, no. So we want to do yet? Hey,
By the way,
Chandler.
I'm okay with it.
Hey, Chandler, you want to do me a favor? Open up, or no, never mind. Don't ignore that.
I'll go play some
Ouch.
EVE Online for a little bit, or some Star.
That's the
Whoa!
that's the
Back
XP
this
for
truck
the
up.
Orc Brawler.
What?
I've
Where?
been wanting to play EVE Online, but I haven't got it yet.
It's free.
Well, I know it's free,
Well,
but I had
for
a friend.
alphas.
I had a friend that was
I
gonna
tried
send
it
me a
myself,
request.
but it was... I don't know. It's not my thing.
You have to be a pirate to play Eve.
I just wanted to see what it was about because I watched some people play it, and I was
Only
like, "Oh,
if you
it's
live
different."
in Losec.
I'm
Oh,
only
no.
interested in space flight sims if I can use a joystick.
Yeah, so we had,
Who is Murdo Renolfson?
That would be me.
That would be Clayton.
What?
It's
He
actually my
used
Eve
some
character name.
weird. Yeah, he used some weird name.
It's actually
I
from a book
decided to
series.
test it out. The reason I decided to try Eve was because I've been playing Star Citizen, and so far the only thing I have seen in Star Citizen is you either dogfight or you run around in a first-person shooter. There's nothing else to do.
Oh, there's a metric ton of crap to do in Eve.
And in Eve, it's this massive, huge, gigantuan universe to explore and do all kinds of different stuff in.
well, yeah, that's what I
PvP,
noticed.
PvE, mining.
Yeah, there's
You
like
can
everything.
do
build
everything
your own
from a
ship.
miner to an ore schlub to a pirate.
Yeah, that's like I noticed the whole building the ship. I mean, you can just fly around, just endless space, and I mean, it looked like it was really cool.
And you can
I've
literally
been,
do
I've
nothing
been
about
playing for like 7 years.
Really? You've been playing Eve for 7 years?
Off and on, yes.
I'm just learning. I'm still in the tutorials thing. So
You can also do literally nothing in the game and still have fun.
yeah,
Really?
I will pay for a subscription to Eve if I get hooked on it and decide that it's worth putting money into. Otherwise, I won't pay for a subscription.
Nothing wrong with that.
Someone just
That's
disconnected.
what alpha clones are for.
I'm so out, like so anti paying for subscriptions for a single game, but I mean I don't know.
If you start making enough money, you don't have to pay for it, but that takes a while.
Right.
Well, with